This lesson is titled Inverse Variation. When two quantities have a constant non-zero product, a relationship is called inverse variation. For example, if x times y equals 12, we would see the following values in the table. When x is 1, y is 12. When x is 2, y is 6. When x is 3, y is 4. When x is 4, y is 3. Notice if you take any pair here and multiply them together, you get 12. 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12, and so on down the list. You can model indirect variation with an equation of the form y equals k over x. Y is the dependent variable, x is the control variable, and k is our constant of variation. Again, remember, you can pause these videos, write down your notes, fast forward, rewind, whatever you need to do to pace the lesson so that it works for you. Direct versus indirect variation. You'll see that these graphs have a very different, these equations have a very different graph. Y equals 2x is just the equation of a line. We've seen this kind of thing before. But y equals 12 over x, that would be the same as xy equals 12. That has a graph that's not linear at all. In fact, it's not even continuous. It's broken here in the middle. This part goes down forever, this part goes up forever, so these two pieces would never meet. Suppose y varies inversely with x and y is 7 when x is 5. We need to write an equation for the inverse variation. Well, if it varies inversely, then we know that x times y equals k. If x is 5 and y is 7, then x times y is 35. So if we follow that logic, we get all the way down to xy equals 35. Or, if we choose to write it in the other form, y equals 35 divided by x. We get that just by dividing both sides by this x. Put it under the 35. You try one. Suppose y varies inversely with x, and y is 9 and x is 2. What's the equation for the inverse variation? Well, we could say xy equals 18, or we could say that y equals 18 over x. xy equals 18 is fine. We can just write that. Here's another example. We have the point 38 and the point 2 comma y. Y is unknown. We need to find the missing value y. Well, we know that x times y is supposed to equal x times y. So 3 times 8 should equal 2 times this unknown y. 3 times 8 is 24. 2 times the unknown y has to equal 24. If we solve for this unknown y, they're calling it y2, that would be 12. So the unknown or missing value is 12. You try a couple of these. Go ahead and pause the video, give both of these a try, and then actually you can check them one at a time, but check your answer with the video here. Let's see, 3 times y has to equal 5 times 9. 3 times y is 3y, and 5 times 9 is 45. So if 3 times what equals 45, you're right, that has to be 15. Have you got the answer for B yet? If not, go ahead and pause. If you do, go ahead and let this run. Let's see, 75 times 0.2, or 75 times 2/10 is 15. So what times 3 is 15? Well, that's 5, so the missing value is 5. Do the data in each table represent a direct variation or an inverse variation? For each table, write an equation to model the data. Well, let's see, 2 to 5, 4 to 10. Well, the values seem to vary directly. So let's check ratios. 5 over 2 is 5 halves. 10 over 4, that's 5 halves. And 25 over 10 also reduces to 5 halves. So since everything reduces to 5 halves, or 2.5, we would say that this varies directly. And the equation is y equals 2.5x. We can always take the x value, multiply it by 2.5, and we'll get the y value. How about this table? Well, if I check y over x, I get 4, I get 1. Already that doesn't match, so the other thing I need to check is x times y. 5 times 20 is 100, 10 times 10 is 100, 25 times 4 is 100. So those always work inversely, so we're going to check the product xy. We already did that. We get 100 every time. Therefore, the equation is xy equals 100. X times y equals 100. You can see every pairing here, if we multiply x times y, we get 100. So our equation is right here at the bottom. You try a couple of these. Find the equation. You got to determine if it's direct or inverse and find the equation. Go ahead and pause the video and give that a try. All right, for A, you should have gotten xy equals 36. Notice how if you take the x value times the y value, no matter which pair you look at here, you're always going to get 36. And for B it's y equals 4 times x. If you take the x value and multiply by 4, you're always going to get the y. The other way to see that is 12 divided, let's back up. 12 divided by 3 is 4, 20 divided by 5 is 4, 32 divided by 8 is 4. This is like a little lesson quiz, so what I want you to do is pause the video right here, try all these problems, and then when you're ready to check your answers, press play. Number 1, you should have gotten a half. Number 2, you should have got 17.5. Number 3, xy is 1/3. And we're missing the value here of 3 and the value here of 1/18. 4a is a direct variation, and 4b is an inverse variation. If you have any questions on this slide, bring them to class, and we'll chat about them in class. That's our learning target for this lesson. I'll see you in class.